Hi, everyone. Today we are talking about toxic thinking and getting rid of our limiting beliefs. This is something that all of us can use, can apply. This applies to all of us, okay? Whether or not we are a teenager, we're in our we're a young adult, we are a professional, a manager, a parent, entrepreneur. Every single one of us that is watching this right now, this applies to all of us. I'm Dr. Karen. If we haven't met before, I'm Dr. Karen. I've been doing this work for over 25 years. My doctorate is in marriage and family. And I started my work over 25 years ago at a family practice. And the last almost 20 years, I've been working with organizations around the world on leadership development and specifically leadership emotional intelligence. That's kind of our niche and focus. And this whole topic around limiting beliefs, toxic thinking, is an extremely prevalent topic. And so it's really important for all of us, regardless of our age and title, that all of us really learn how to master it, how to change it. So let's dive in. Okay, so for those of you who have not seen my TED Talk or got my book, I'm going to give you a very quick summary of this and how this applies to actually our toxic thinking. So the book, The Three Chairs, is around basically the three different mindsets. So we've got left chair is like the insecure person, the right chair is the arrogant attitude, and the middle chair is the confident person or the confident mindset. This is a business book. It's applied for business leaders and professionals. But anybody can read it. I mean, if I teach a leadership course to high school students, and they actually all read it. So this really, you'll get tremendous value regardless of your age. But the reason why I want to share this is because these are three different mindsets, okay? And even a lot of us, even if we identify with actually sitting in that middle chair, that only 20 to 30% of people sit in that middle chair. But even if you do, none of us sit there 100% of the time, okay? I see myself sitting there the majority of the time, but I still will fall on the left and I will still sometimes fall on the right because none of us are perfect, okay? Which is why I want to talk about this, because all of us will have it sometimes throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the year, throughout the month. We are going to have limiting beliefs, and we need to understand, what do we do with them? What do we do with them, and how do we master them, and how do we change them? So that's what we're talking about, okay? So I just wanted to give a quick little highlight. My TED Talk talks about the three chairs for more all ages. So like whether or not somebody's 8 years old or 18 or 28 or 58, that's a really great free resource for everybody to watch as well. And we have discussion questions that are free regarding the TED Talk for families, from schools, and for companies. And that's actually on our website, dkleadership.dk stands for Dr. Karen, leadership.org, O-R-G. Okay, so all right, so let's dive in. Let's dive in around limiting beliefs, toxic thinking. And the reason why I want to share this is because I travel and speak to conferences globally. And this was a topic that came up this last month. I was speaking at an entrepreneurs group, and this is a very, very accomplished, successful group, okay? Very, very accomplished, very high net worth. And I talked about the three chairs. I talked about the three different mindsets of it, but they wanted to go deeper with it. And so I actually had them do an exercise, and I want to share it with you because I had them do an exercise on identifying their limiting beliefs. And basically the way I described it is there's kind of like really three steps, okay, in terms of really working through and changing our limiting beliefs. And the first step is to know with what they are. And that is where the awareness piece actually comes from. And like I said earlier, limiting beliefs is part of kind of that overall arching umbrella, leadership emotional intelligence, which is what we specialize as a company. That's what we do as a company. We help organizations, teams, professionals understand what it is, how you can measure it, how you can build it, how you can grow it. Okay, so limiting beliefs is part of it. There's kind of 5 kind of core skills, leadership EQ, and our thought patterns is one of the 5. So it'd be great for all of you to get your hands on that. We have a free scorecard. You can actually measure your leadership EQ, okay? And so just to get it, it's free. You can just go ahead and in the chat function or in the comments below, just write scorecard. Okay, just write scorecard, and somebody from our team will send that to you, and you can get it for free. You can actually measure your own score, your leadership EQ, And you can apply it to your professional life, your family, your dating, your friendships, everything. You'll see it on the scorecard. It's really easy to use. Okay, so the first step, okay, with what you want to do with when it comes to limiting beliefs, the first step is you want to be aware with what your thoughts are. Okay, so here's how I did it recently when I was speaking at this entrepreneurs group. And again, this is a very, very accomplished, externally successful, overachievers, high achievers, high performers, very significant net worth in this group, okay, in this room. And I had them do it. And I had them all take out a pen and paper. They all had pads of papers on the tables. I had them take it out. And I said, listen, every single one of us, myself included, this is my field, and I still have this, okay? So all of us, because why? Because none of us are sitting in this middle chair 100%. All of us will slip to the left, will slip to the right. We got to be aware of it. We got to be aware of it. We got to pay attention to it. And then we got to root out the toxic thinking. So I had everybody in the room pull out one piece of paper and write out what is one limiting belief that you have that sometimes or often or rarely but it's sometimes, okay, it comes up in your head, okay? And what is that thought? What is that limiting belief? What is that toxic thought? What is it and how does it pop up? So here are some of the answers, okay? And I'm going to share these with you, and then I'm going to tell you what we're going to do with them. Here we go. These are just some of them. I'm not enough. The people I love will leave. I'm a slave to performance. I have imposter syndrome. I'm not good enough. I lack courage. I'm not smart enough. I've never done the job that I teach others to do. I'm not a creative thinker. I'm not great at anything. I don't fit in. I'm not disciplined. I'm not enough. I'm not smart enough. People don't like me for who I am. They like me for what I do for them. I can't handle growth and success. People won't understand me. I'm a loser if I fail. I can't build my business to be successful. I'm going to let other people down. I'm not smart enough. We all have them. We all have them. And it is so important that we pay attention to what is that toxic thought and how do we actually change it. And so the reason why this is so important, this is one of the reasons why I'm committed to doing this YouTube channel, because this is my place where I can educate. I have been doing this work for so long, and I've had tremendous success in doing this work. And I know this stuff works, okay? This stuff works, but we do have to do it in a certain order to really see the impact and the results that we actually want. The reason why limiting beliefs is so powerful is because what we tell ourselves impacts how we feel and will then impact our behavior. So our thoughts drive our feelings, drive our behavior. It's like this domino effect, okay? So if I tell myself, Karen, I'm stupid, I will feel stupid. If I feel stupid, it will impact my performance. It will impact my risk taking, my friendships, my communication, how I deal with conflict, my goal setting. It will have a domino effect on my life if I don't learn how to change my thought pattern, okay? So step one, everybody, is get out a pen and paper and identify what are the thoughts, and just even start with one. What's one thought that you tell yourself that you think is limiting? It's toxic. It's not serving you, okay? It's toxic, and we all have them, okay? We all have them. So number one is identify with what they are. Number two is you need to challenge it. In my book, I talk about this on page, of course now I lost the page. I talk about on page, I think it's page, I can't remember. I can't remember with what page it is. I actually found, oh, here he is. Sorry. Okay, sorry. It's page 58, 59. Okay. So I talk about page 58 and 59. I talk about a senior leader that I worked with who was externally successful. Externally, she looks very successful. Internally, she suffered big time with toxic thinking, and told herself comments like, "I have to be perfect. There's no room to make mistakes. My father would be disappointed. I am undeserving of this role." This is, listen, I'm telling you, everybody has these. This is why it's just so good that we actually lean into it and we actually learn how to change it. So step one is you learn actually with, okay, just write it out, pen and paper. What are my toxic, just, again, like I said, just even like write down one. What is one thought that I would like to be different about myself? Step two is you challenge it. So the thing about our brain is that a lot of us will kind of like think certain things, but we don't even like challenge it. We don't actually even think, like, is this true? This is loving? This is logical? A lot of us will just tell it to ourselves and just assume that it's true. And you have to be very strategic with your brain. You have to be very strategic. Your brain is very smart. Your brain is very sophisticated. So you have to challenge it very strategically. And I explain how do you do that on page 59 and 60. And it's really interesting. And so what you have to do is you have to almost have to take a step outside of yourself. Look at yourself objectively. Don't think about the thought from the inside, because you'll just kind of keep telling yourself your same narrative. You got to step outside of yourself and look at it from the outside in. And just a simple question, ask yourself, if you had a best friend that was just like you, talked like you, act like you, had the exact same circumstance like you, would you tell them that thought? Would you tell your best friend, "You're not smart enough. You're not going to let people down. You're a loser. People won't understand you. You can't handle growth. You're not good enough. You're not disciplined. You're not great. You're not a creative thinker. You lack courage. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough." Would you tell? Probably not. I hope not. Okay. And the reason why this is such a bit of a gut check for a lot of us is because when we think about giving advice to our best friend, we pour out this loving, encouraging, truthful wisdom. And yet for a lot of us, that when we start telling ourselves that, it's like this garbage. And so you want to kind of take a step outside of yourself, look at it from the outside and be objective. You want to make sure that you start writing down what is truthful, what is loving, what is empowering. And I explain in more detail in terms of how to do it. So that's step two, is you've got to rewrite the new narrative, because your brain, you can't just erase thoughts, you have to replace thoughts. There's a certain way that you have to do it for your brain to really absorb it. And the third way about how does it actually take hold, how does it kind of, how does it stick, is you have to, once you have your new thought and it's loving and it's encouraging and it's empowering, you read it over and over again. And this is the discipline that all of us need to do to sit in that middle chair. We have to be mindful of the thoughts that we tell ourselves. Every morning I do gratitudes. I'm practicing the thoughts that I'm telling myself. I do gratitudes. I do meditation. And when I have toxic things and I have toxic thinking and limiting beliefs, and I still have them because I'm not in the middle chair 100%. Nobody is. When I have those limiting beliefs and I notice that they're bubbling up, that's the time that I'm trying to root them out and starting to rewrite that narrative. And so that's what all of us can do. We can all do it. We can all do it. This is free, and it will have a massive transformation on your life.